Hey everybody. So, before I kick into this review, let me just tell you something real quick that will potentially impact this channel. That is that school's starting back up. I know it sucks for everybody. Those of you with kids, you're like, oh dang, we gotta buy a bunch of stuff and then gonna send these kids off, and yeah, it's a whole ordeal. Yeah, but for me, it's getting back to work after a nice summer in which I got to do a lot for this channel and got a lot of new viewers. And hey, new viewers, how you doing? Anyway, and hey, old viewers, thank you. Anyway, so yeah, just know that there might be interruptions once school starts back up. And I've got ideas and things. I've got something I've been trying to get done. We'll see if I ever will. But until then, until such time, this what you get is me doing these reviews this week on a regular basis, and then next week, who knows? Who knows indeed? All right, so today we're taking a look at Donut Dodo. I've had this one in my library for some time. I've always been a fan of single-screen platformers, arcade-style single-screen platformers. And there's another game called, I believe it's called Annalyn. And it's also a single-screen platformer done in the classic arcade game style. And it tries to be a retro arcade game and succeeds, largely succeeds. This one, Donut Dodo, attempting the same thing. We'll take a look and see how and what and why. But first of all, I feel like I have to address this. Like, how can I be a person who enjoys this sort of game, and indeed be a person who runs a video gaming channel who is so objectively bad at this game? Because you're not going to see past the first two levels. You're just not. I'm telling you right now, in the gameplay footage, you will see the first level, you'll see me pass it a few times, and then you'll see me die on the second level quite a bit. Yeah, because, with single-screen platformers, you have to memorize the level and get really, really familiar with it. It's like Donkey Kong. If you've watched King of Kong and learned why, and then all of the time that we've spent watching Billy Mitchell live up to his true video game villain status. Oh no, I'm getting sued. Potentially saying that in the middle of a video will get me sued by Billy Mitchell. Anyway, and anyone sued by Billy Mitchell, yeah, because he's very litigious and terrible and a true villain. Anyway, but like, it takes a lot of practice to get really good at these old school games, and I started playing this one today. So yeah, it took me, there's footage you don't have of me learning to pass the first level. Learning to pass the second level, working on it. Working on it. Anyway, but there's a lot going on with this game. There's a ton of stuff on the screen. So let me explain what all is happening and what all you gotta do. So, your job is to collect all the donuts on the screen, ending with the giant donut on the top, which is protected by the titular dodo. And that dodo is shooting flames at you from oil cans, a la Donkey Kong. And, there are multiple, if you look at the high scores table, you're going to see multiple games referenced there. You'll see Pac-Man and Dig Dug and Donkey Kong, because this game pays tributes to the greats that inspired it, which is a good thing to see. But yeah, oil cans and fireballs, very similar to Donkey Kong. And you get more points for collecting the flashing donuts, which will send you all over the screen in chasing after very specific donuts. Yeah, after trying to get those and do it in that order for a while, I just kind of gave up and was like, let's just try and pass the level first. You know, this game does say in its own Steam store page description, in the first sentence, it says, this is a difficult arcade game. And indeed it is. It is difficult. And so, yeah, I gave up on chasing the flashing donuts, but you get significantly more points for getting them flashing donuts. Anyway, as you're going around collecting the donuts, you're going to encounter a few baddies who are trying to wreck your day. First of all is Sniffy, the green rat or mouse. It doesn't say which. I'm guessing rat. Who runs across in regular patterns. You can predict where Sniffy is going to be at any given time. It's actually pretty easy. It just runs all the way across to the left and then all the way across to the right. That's what he does, and so you can figure out how to avoid him fairly easily. That is, if you don't take into account all of the other stuff coming after you, like the aforementioned fireballs. And my least favorite is, so you got Sniffy the rat, you've got Stinky the toilet. Yeah, that's right, the toilet has a name, and it's named Stinky. And yes, that is a dripping toilet coming after you. That thing is relentless. First of all, you cannot jump over it. So if it backs you into a corner, and there is one specific ledge that you can't jump down, you could jump down all the other ledges. There's just one that you can't jump down, and I died there just all the time, constantly, because, you know, Stinky would back me into a corner, and then he'd get me, as, you know, all sentient toilets do. I don't know if you've ever been snuffed out by a sentient toilet, but yeah. Play this game and you will absolutely get snuffed out by a sentient toilet. In addition to Sniffy, or is it Snuffy? Sniffy. And Stinky, there's also Winky, who's a straight-up Pac-Man ghost. But you gotta get to the later levels in the game. There's like a Halloween level and a carnival level with a Ferris wheel, which looks really cool and really fun. But I never got there. I gotta keep practicing, gotta keep building the skill of not sucking at this game. And so, yeah. But the thing that makes the toilet so hard is that, like, the AI on him is actually really good. He's really good at tracking you and chasing you down, as is, I've watched footage of people playing against Winky, the Pac-Man ghost. Yeah, he just moves through stuff and comes straight at you, so you gotta keep moving when you're on levels with him. This game is super well made. It's undeniable. The quality is palpable from the opening sequence. There's a ton of options, by the way. You've got CRT options to make it look more old school. You've got bezel options. You've got screen shake options to turn that on and off. I know there's one of you out there who just really can't do screen shake, which is understandable. Like, different visual effects are hard for different people. You know, the one that I can't handle, I actually have tinnitus because I went, and yes, I know it's supposed to be pronounced tinnitus, but nobody pronounces it that way. That is the correct pronunciation. But if you're like, I have tinnitus. People would be like, do you mean tinnitus? And you'd be like, yeah, that one. A ringing in my ears that never goes away, day or night, unless I am asleep. I assume it's still happening while I sleep, but I don't have to sit there and listen to it. Yeah, that came from not protecting my ears when I was going to concerts. If you are the sort of person who goes to a lot of concerts, and man, I went to a ton of concerts, a lot of punk shows back in my college days, for real. And that's how I lost my hearing, and it's bad, and it sucks. Protect your ears, kids. Anyway, but yeah, so a lot of games started doing the thing where if a grenade explodes near you, it makes a tinnitus sound effect of a high-pitched whiny noise in your ears, except for I already have that, and they never choose the same frequency that is my actual frequency, and so it's always dissonant and terrible and twice as bad as having regular tinnitus. And yet, no one complains about this. We all just accepted that, like, oh yeah, this is a thing. Tons of people have tinnitus. Tons of people. And yeah, we just have accepted that, like, oh yeah, this is an effect that you can do in games. Makes it super real. No. Stop it. Anyway, so in this game, at least you have the options if you're like, man, that bezel is too busy, or I think this CRT should be less, less scan lines or more scan lines, whatever you want. It's got a lot of options that are designed to make the game better for your gameplay. And I appreciate every single one of those things, because as I look on the options screen, all I see are not gameplay improvements, but quality of life improvements as you are playing the game. So if there are specific things that bother you, yeah, you can dial it in, you can fix it, you can make it exactly what you want. The game is super well made. It's got an eye on fairness. Every time you die, you will know that it is, in fact, your fault and not the game being faulty or poorly designed or anything of the sort. And, the fact that you can jump long distances, as long as you land on a platform when you're jumping, across vast chasms, like on that second level, you can't even get to the upper portions of it unless you make this massive jump from the top of the left side of the screen to the midsection of the right side of the screen. Yeah, you have to make that jump. That's how the level is designed. And in older games like Miner 2049er or Hard Hat Mac, you just can't take a fall like that. And those games also pretty hard. And yeah, a little less fair in some of those deaths. So yeah, when you die, it's your fault. I have to say this, the music is excellent. Oh my god, it's so fantastic. And the fact that I have a really good sound system hooked up to my computer makes it feel like better than any arcade cabinet could ever reproduce. But you will feel that arcade cabinet feel. It's incredible. The music is spot on. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And so I'm leaving it in there whether I get content matched or not. Anyway, this whole thing is excellent. The only thing I'll say is that it's kind of too hard, and there's kind of a kitchen sink vibe where you got like so many things thrown at it. Because, when you approach a single screen platformer in 2022, which is when this one came out, I can imagine it would be hard not to just throw everything at it, kitchen sink approach, because it's a single screen. Computers can do a lot more than they could back in the day. Anyway, final score, I'm giving it an 8 out of a possible 10 Hard Hat Max. That's the DOS version. I don't touch that C64 stuff, although most of the times that I've played this game, it's been on an Apple II. That's right. The old Apple II labs in school. Yeah. Shout out if you played on an Apple II and remember Hard Hat Mac and what a fun game that was to play when you finished all of your regular work and whatnot in the computer lab. Anyway, people, that's going to do it for this one. And thank you for being here. I will see you in the next one. Okay. Bye.